All right, Cara, got a VOD review for you, as promised. So these were from the other week. There's 4 races in here that I'll go through. I'll go over some kind of simple stuff, but also some more advanced bits and pieces as well. So there'll probably be quite a lot kind of in this video that I'll cover. But don't worry about kind of doing all of it at once. I just wanted to kind of mention several things. I've watched this race back kind of once already. So I've got an idea of kind of what's coming up. So if we jump in, we've got Rainbow Road. Now, just on this one to start with, this track is typically better to start in the back because you can get a really good draft at the start. It's quite hard to keep first if you're in first on this one, and also the further back you are, the more coins you have. So we missed the starting boost at the start. I think you get it later on, so I think you know the timing, but just in case you want to do it as soon as this number 2, like now, as soon as it hits this kind of line stops moving, that's when you want to start accelerating. You see everyone else has started doing that now. You're just slightly late, which means you only got a smaller boost. Everyone else is overtaking you already. These boost panels, they change position when you race. So every time you play this track, they are randomized, so it might be in a different position. But when you time trial, they're in the same position. Okay, so we've got a green shell here. So kind of what you want to be doing, you're over this left side of the track, you want to be over this right side. It bends around to the right. So is there a quicker line? And also, I mentioned this before, you want to be getting drafts behind people as much as you can. It's slightly difficult when people are trailing. They shouldn't really be trailing here, but you want to be kind of drafting around here. Third place is actually in a really good position because they could get the draft and then shroom up. That's kind of what you want to be looking for. You get the coins, which isn't too bad. You can take this a bit tighter and get those coins. You play aggressive here and you try to get the green shell snipe onto the CPU. I don't mind kind of the aggressive play, but I think it's a little bit early for the aggressive play. For a couple of reasons. One, you don't know what's behind you. Someone behind you might have a red shell. So this is where your rear view mirror will come in handy. So pressing your rear view mirror, I think it's kind of Y, or I can't remember what the other button is, but that's the one I use at the top. You press that will look behind you. It can be really difficult getting used to that to start with. So what I would typically recommend if you're looking at trying to use your rear view more is when you're on a straight, or if you're in a glider. Those are kind of 2 really good places to start getting used to. Oh, I'm on a straight here, I can just quickly look behind me. Or I'm in a glider, I've got time here, I can look behind me. So those are really good places to kind of get used to using a rear view mirror. The other thing as well, if you were going for this snipe, you did it, if we go back, as you're still kind of drifting around here, and it's really difficult to line up, you just kind of finish your drift. If you saved it, I mean, you actually overtook them anyway. You could have kept your defense up. There was no reason. You kind of left yourself exposed a little bit there. So you got this red and you fire it off quite quickly. So a couple of things here that are worth noting that I'll kind of pick up on throughout kind of the video as well. The next item box is quite far away. So now you're kind of completely exposed with no defense or kind of offense for the next item box. You've got quite a long way to go. So it would have been better keeping this in case you need it for defense, so you don't get hit, until you get closer to the next item box, and then you can play aggressive. Once you know you're safe. A lot of Mario Kart is making sure you're safe. Same again, you know, if this person in first, if they were to fire this back to try and play aggressive, you know, they've got no defense and they're open to, you know, getting hit until the next item box. So, you know, they want to keep this as much as possible. The other thing to bear in mind is, so you're going to hit their red, that's going to break, so they're going to be defenseless after you throw in 1 red until the next item box. then they're going to go through the item box and they're going to get some more defense. So unless you get 2 reds at the next item box, assuming you keep second here, you're not going to break their defense very easily, because they're just going to get another. If you only pull 1 red shell, they're going to get defense for that again. You're going to fire it, they're going to go through the next item box, get defense, you red them once again, and they, you keep doing like that. So what you can do, especially considering you've got a bit of a gap here between, first and second, is if you hold your red until they have gone through the item box, you then fire your red before you go through the next set. Your red will then break this one, and then you've got 2 more chances once you get the next double item box to get a red, if that makes sense. So you could potentially get 2 or 3. You're more likely to get red shells that way. So timing your aggression can be really useful here. The other thing to kind of bear in mind is you've got 3rd place really close to you. Yes, they've got triples, but it doesn't really kind of matter what they have. Your red shell, while you're kind of playing aggressive to first here, that's not really going to touch them. You also kind of need to be thinking about keeping second here. And having a red shell, or even having that out trailing, will create space for you. It means that 3rd place has to now counterplay your red shell. If they just overtake you, you're going to red them. So they have to stay behind you. But in this instance, they've got the triple green, so they can probably just drive into you or overtake you and be safe. But as a general rule, you can use your items as a way to kind of create space for yourself and make other people try to make a play on you. Because that's what you're doing right now, is you're trying to make a play on first here, using your items. But you also have to remember that other people behind you need to make plays onto you. And by you throwing this red, you make it a lot easier for them to get past you. They don't need to make a play. They just have to do a slightly better line, or, save their red shell slightly later. It's very easy for them to make plays on you, because you kind of open yourself up and a lot more vulnerable. Again, a kind of awareness of these triple greens. I think they kind of overtake you here. You take quite a wide line. Going for coins isn't the worst here, but you take a really wide line through here, and then these greens come in. Now the thing to kind of be aware of, someone's got triple greens in front of you and there's a double item box. It's possible, especially with the distance between second and first, that they want to re-roll here, get rid of these greens, and try to get some reds or something they can make a play with first, because they're not going to be hitting first out with these. So if I see this person overtake me, I'm expecting 3 greens back here, or at some point they're going to play aggressive with those at some point. So you stay right behind them. So if they were to back that, you would have been dead. Luckily they don't. You also miss a box. This is just a timing thing you kind of can get used to. You either go for the single box and play it safe, or if you are going for the double, don't be afraid to hit your brake. This is something I do a lot. You can slow down. It's the time it takes you to slow down here. If you just hit your brake or released acceleration just for half a second, or even a second here, you would have got this item box, and the time it took you to slow down there would have been minimal compared to the time it takes you to, or the risk of being itemless until the next item set. So yeah, slowing down is fine. I notice here I think you're pressing the drift button to try and trick off these and mistiming it. So you're going for the tricks. I think just kind of timing wise, what you can do if you shake your controller, especially over those bits, it buffers the input. So it's equivalent of like spamming the hot button, the trick button. You can do the same just shaking. The other benefit to that as well is, like, obviously when you're, if I go back to here, when you're hopping, you change direction there, because you hopped while like slightly turning right. When you're drifting, you won't, when you're shaking, sorry, you won't get that, where it kind of shifts direction. Because obviously when you do the hop, it does a slightly different behavior than when you kind of trick, because it allows you to kind of change direction and stuff. So yeah, if you're struggling with kind of getting tricks or things like that as well, you can shake. So we've got this green shell here, again, kind of just getting rid of it. I think you just wanted to use your shroom. again, you know, you're leaving yourself completely vulnerable into the next item box. So just hold these. There's no reason. You're not playing. You're not going to make a play or do anything here. Just keep those both items until you get to the next set here. And then you can fire your green up or back. And then use your shroom. I would use a shroom. I'll show you in a second. But like literally just before the set. You don't need to use it now. You missed the drift there. Here's the greens coming back that I mentioned before. They still got them. They'll still keep an eye on that. They re-rolled them just before this set. So yeah, use your shroom like here. And again, if you had done that, even if you hit this banana, you would have still had your shroom right now. So you could have got back up to speed a lot quicker. Get the double item here. So a couple of things to note here. You got kind of defense and then triple shrooms. I think because you hit that banana, you want to try and catch up as quickly as possible. So you just kind of spam. Again, don't check behind you. This is a perfect place to now look behind you to see what there is. 1, 2, 3. I think just unlucky. Those things happen. And then I know we fall off and it's just kind of like, oh, things kind of just cascade into kind of chaos here. It happens. But I think there is some useful learning, as painful as it can be. So you fall off. And it's like, oh, I've made a mistake. This isn't just you that's done that. I pointed this out on, I think, Ollie's VOD review as well. Is when we make a mistake, our instinct is to get back up to top speed as quickly as possible. Or to kind of use items, kind of throw them out. And it's like, oh, you know, that mistake happened. You know, that I'm frustrated, just kind of like spam. And that can actually compound your mistake, which it does here as well. Whether that's shrooms or shells or things like that as well. So you fall off, fine. So the best thing to do here is when you land, start your drift and then use your shroom when your alignment is good. So you kind of shroom immediately and you're on a bad alignment. If that happened as well, if you just waited a little bit longer, you know, get your drift going, you would have been redded and then you would have still been able to just kind of shroom after your red. And for these, you want to start your drift here. So you want to be drifting. Start your drift like now, around here. And then you can drift all the way around. You don't get a drift and just got to go around and it doesn't go well. So yeah, that's that race. Just a lot of kind of item spamming, coin collection and stuff as well. You're doing okay with that. Missed a few coins, going a bit too wide for some coins. And yeah, you don't need to go fast all the time. Sometimes going slower at times can be more beneficial. So this track again, so this one is considered a bit of a bagger. And what I mean by that is there's lots of kind of shortcuts and abilities for people to catch up here at the back. And it's quite hard to kind of keep first on this one. So if you're first going into like the last half a lap, there's likely someone will overtake you because of the power of the shortcuts and stuff. So there are a couple of shortcuts on here that I can show you. A couple of kind of tricks. Almost got the max boost there. A little bit late again. So on this corner, you want to be building up that orange if you can. You notice, I think this is Isaac. Gets that as well, and it gets a significant lead. That comes up later. So I think single blue is fine down there. So you do a little hop, I think kind of to fix your alignment, but I think your alignment was fine. That does mean you only get the orange boost. This is fine. I think you struggled with these boxes a little bit, so I think you're keeping your drift a little bit too long through here. So you've got two options. One is if you want to keep your drift, you can go for this wide box, the wide double, and build up a purple. Or if you can take the corner a little bit better, you can still get a purple and hit this inside one. But honestly, if you're struggling with this, just get the orange boost and go for the single, the left double. You hold your drift slightly too long there. You can actually take this corner slightly wider than you think as well, and it's still fine. You take it kind of quite tight, but you can take it a little bit wide around here to dodge this ink. Again, awareness of what's around you. So you've got a green shell at the moment, and you made a bit of a driving error, just in terms of like drifting. So you didn't get a mini turbo there. The person behind you will get one, so they will kind of get a lot closer to you, or if not overtake you. This green shell is not going to be doing anything in front, not unless you get incredibly lucky and it gets a bounce. But you with a green shell out means that this person now has to be careful and not get trailed. Bananas are notorious for having gaps in them. So while they do have a triple, you still want to kind of generally avoid driving into stuff or getting hit with red shells with bananas, because for some reason, stuff makes its way through. So yeah, by keeping this trail out, they just drive straight into you, but they would have got trailed and hit here if you kept your green out, and they wouldn't have been able to make this play on you. They just kind of play aggressive, drive into you. So here as well, you only get a blue turbo, whereas if you look, the person who's behind you gets this orange. This then enables them to catch up and then make another play on you. So just because of this mini turbo, missing a mini turbo from the orange, the blue to orange, you then lost a spot and kind of got punished for it, unfortunately. Generally, lines were okay there. It's just try to build up the maximum mini turbo that you can. I like going for this tight line here. You try to make a correction from the first lap, that's good. So don't worry about going the off-road here, you're doing the right things. You're just learning the track. That's fine. You get the double, which is important for this one. You get a ghost. A couple of things here. I don't think going for the ghost here is the worst play in the world. You either keep it and play kind of towards the end of lap 3, or you use it straight away. Stealing the shroom here would have been huge if you were able to get it. I don't think you do get it. Again, just firing this off. Just as another note, you're in 6th, so you can probably, there's another item box and a boost panel this side that you can get, which could have been really powerful. Allow you to catch up. The reason why I say that shroom is really useful is this is a shroom cut. You can cut through this grass. It's really powerful. Coins are nice. You can start this drift around here if you want to. You started a little bit late. It's fine. Blue is just unlucky. This was the item box that the CPU got that I was showing you by the boost panel. They happened to get that and get in front of you. Just unlucky though. Slightly wide there. You're going to be wanting that, like getting this double here is like, this is key, even if you have to slow down. So yeah, release early, get this one here, you've got space for it. And this is just a death sentence now. You draft, which is good. But then you get really close to the CPU, has a star out, who could quite easily activate and just wreck you. So yeah, bit dangerous. You start that drift late as well. You can start that a lot earlier. And then, yeah, just you get drafted on. Bit unlucky. But yeah, definitely a few things kind of to tweak there. Again, just using items lots very quickly, leaving yourself kind of open, and not creating space, and missed mini turbos will definitely help. And again, missing item boxes, especially doubles on that track, twice is going to hurt you a lot. I don't know if I was going to mention the other shortcut as well. So there's a couple. The reason why it's really powerful is, actually I'll just show you the shortcuts. There's a couple you can do. If you've got a star, you can use the star through this cut. You go through that bit of off-road, and then you can cut through, if I can show you like this bit of grass through here as well, you can cut. Or you can stream through those. But typically if you have a stream, save it for the end here, because you can stream through here, through those tyres. That's where you can get quite a lot of positions through that if you have a shroom there. So that's why, like, if you've got those doubles or even a single there, you probably would have had a shroom and you would have got 4th probably, just from getting that one item box. Right, this is one that you said you didn't want me to VOD review, so but again, there's some useful stuff in here. I like that attempt at the double drift. Again, using your shroom straight away. I think using Misty kind of mini turbo. Save it and you can use it over this. Would have got you an extra coin as well. The right side is quicker. Now I notice you struggle on this line all around this section, and it is a really tricky one if you don't know the best way to, or the most consistent way to tackle it. It does take a bit of trial and error. It's actually really easy to fix. So what you do is you come up here and you trick, and when you trick, it gives you a really bad line. You end up bumping into here or going up here. If you can take a tight line, get this double, it's actually really easy to kind of go around. So if you notice, if we watch, it says Ollie up here, he won't trick off this ramp at all. He'll just drive off of it and then drift round. So no trick, and he just drifts around, gets an orange turbo, then drifts around again. Isaac even drifts all the way off the start and gets a really tight line. So yeah, you can either just don't trick off of it, and then start your drift afterwards, or start your drift before, and it just puts you on a really nice line. Release your mini turbo and then start another one again, and you can make that U-bend really easily. Again, kind of, you got a shroom, just kind of using it straight away. Just wait, there's a really powerful shortcut coming up. Or if you are using your shroom, get used to using your items. I don't know what happened to that person. Use your items here. You can chain them. It's called chaining into sets. So keep your item until you absolutely know you no longer need it, and you can replenish it immediately. So yeah, just use your shroom like here into this one, or save it for the shortcut ahead. The right path is significantly faster as well, and kind of puts you on a better line around this corner. So even just learning that will massively help in this track. I like that you're going for the shortcut. It's good. Obviously you bump the wall, just kind of looking for slightly better alignment through here. So you want to kind of start your drift quite wide. You go wider and then kind of tight towards the end. You do it better on the second lap, I think. And again, I've made a mistake. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shroom immediately, even though I must get back up to top speed, even though top speed is going to drive me into a wall. So hop over here, get yourself into the right alignment, and then use your shroom. I think you were expecting to kind of hop and be in a drift or something through there, to go around that corner, but yeah, just chill with your items. That'll help you a lot. I like this, that's nice. I don't dislike that play. Just getting that stuff early, you're actually shock dodge, so you're in a really beneficial position here. You could have kept this drift for longer, and to not necessarily to get a better mini turbo, just for alignment. Again, don't trick off this. That would have put it in a better line there, and because of that, instant stream again. Start that drift a little bit late through there. That stream is fine. You got a red. You don't really know what's behind you again at this point, and you're just kind of shrooming. Much better. If you were in a drift, then you would have taken that perfectly. And obviously now just not familiar with the track and not knowing where you're going. That will come with time trialing and practice. Don't worry about it. It's just unfortunate. Also, the other thing worth noting, obviously ink is a big thing for you if you don't know the tracks. Mushrooms, when you use a mushroom, when you have ink on, it clears it. So you come into this, you've got 3 shrooms at this point in time. So what I would be doing is I would keep my red, fire my red off now, use 1 shroom to get through the cut. I've now got 2 shrooms. I would use 1 shroom to get rid of my ink. So you would have then been able to see the track, see where you're going, and still have a shroom. You could have even shroomed through this off-road here. You don't need to kind of burn your shroom. You can keep it for longer as well and use it on the ramp, because this is only gonna, your shroom would be in this item box, and you would have, sorry, your shroom would be here, and this item would have been in your second slot. So you would have had time here to kind of keep that shroom, use it for the ramp. But you kind of, yeah, just using them quite quickly, which makes it tricky for you to then use plays. I think you're now in like, oh, I've made some mistakes, I need to catch up as quickly as possible. Lose focus on kind of what's in front of you. So again, just kind of staying calm, trusting your ability to catch up. When you're in the front, when you're in kind of third and stuff, you're driving well. You're doing well. I think it's when you're kind of in that panic mode and you're like, I need to catch up, I'm in ninth. No, those are when those bigger mistakes start to come in and compound. But just trust your ability to kind of be able to catch up. I mean, maybe not on this track. Maybe you need to roll this track a little bit, but generally speaking. The other thing to kind of pick up on is coins, especially if you're in the back here. It's difficult when you're catching up on lap 3, but if you're in the back, coins are so important. You're not going to be catching up without coins, so take the time to kind of collect them as much as possible. Nice there. You can start that second drift a bit earlier. There was a bit of a delay there. So as soon as you come out of this one, start. So release now, start your right drift. There was a pause of about half a second. That would have put you on a better line and probably allowed you to build up a better turbo. Now the fastest line through here is down left. There's an option for 2 coins and a double or a single box. The time trialing line goes up here on lap 1 because it has the most coins and a double box at the end. So I think that, I don't know why this person's going up here, maybe to get the coins and to guarantee a double item box. It is slower. But it also is really jank. It feels really weird driving up here. I think you notice that as well. I don't like going up here. It's really hard to get the coins and the double item box. You can trick off this ramp as well. So do a shake trick off of there or whatever. This isn't like a terrible line going around the outside. There is a quicker line. You'll notice, I think both Isaac and Ollie do it. It seems really tricky to start with, but what you want to do is come over this right side. And you see there's a little notch in the ground here. You'll see it when we get closer. You want to kind of do a right drift off. So start your drift before you go off the edge into the water, hold it into the water. And water has this really cool mechanic of you drift to the ground really slowly, which means you can hold like a hard left on your drift and build up your mini turbo really quickly, and it's not going to impact your direction. So you see, we start the drift, you go off, and now, okay, maybe Ollie's the better one to look at. So he's still in a drift. They both fail it. Typical. But yeah, when you're in the water, you can hold like a hard left on your analog stick. Builds up your mini turbo really quickly. You then kind of zoom through, and then you can get that coin. These stairs, they eat your tricks. So you see Isaac tries to trick off this ramp at the end. These stairs, they bump you just high enough. So if you want to know a pro strat, you want to go off the left or the right side where there's no stairs. You can trick off these really consistently if you are taking that route. Again, really aggressive here. You're in a really good position. You've got 8 coins. You've got a great defense, and you've got a shroom. There's a shroom cut coming up, which I'll show you. So if this was me, I would be keeping these items for half a lap. You play kind of like super aggressive. The other thing to kind of bear in mind, you're making a play onto first, who has triple red, has a single red. You want to, when you make this play, they are side on. So if your green is hitting them, it's going to hit them without breaking their defense. It's going to hit them here, which means you're going to overtake them. If you do make this play, you're going to overtake them, and they're just going to red you out immediately. So just hold. Again, triple greens, if you're really close to someone, they are going to have to avoid you or make plays around not getting hit, which can mess up their driving and make them do unforced errors. So just keeping those probably for as long as possible. I think because you were going for the aggressive play, you then weren't focused on your lines, and you messed your lines up as well. Triple bananas, so there is a shortcut you can do through here as well. So what I like to do for this one is you do an earlier drift around here, and you release it, and then you want to release your drift kind of like around here. And and you can just kind of drift off. If you're finding that too hard, it's not the biggest time saver in the world, so don't worry. That's a bit too much. You can trick off that ramp as well. If your positioning is good, you want to land exactly where you landed to maximize speed. But yeah, trick off this ramp. The shroom cut is coming up here if you didn't know it. This is the ramp. You'll see first place is actually taking it right now, rather than me just drawing. Really powerful. So you could have saved your shroom then, and then had triple greens out afterwards, and you would have been in a really good spot. Again, just spamming red forward. You got ages until your next item box. Not the worst play in the world, because second place was defenseless, so you could... That's one of the opportunities where you can take that risk. But again, knowing what's behind you to make it an educated guess. Isaac doesn't do the strat properly there. Did Ollie do it? No, Ollie didn't do the strat properly either. I'll have to show you. What I might do, I might do a couple of examples on lines through this and then edit them in afterwards. So you want to be getting the double here. You're in second place. Just go wide for that double. You go for it. So nice. Just getting used to those lines. You got a ghost here. I would hold this ghost for a little bit longer. So the way ghosts work is whoever's in first place, whoever's in front of you gets their item stolen. First place is in front of you with no items. So what does a ghost do? It will guarantee you a shroom. Same if you're in first place and you've got a ghost, you use it, you'll always get a shroom. I mean, using it is not the worst thing in the world, but there has just been a shock, so you could save it for later. You could use it to, once first place gets through this item box, you could use it to steal their item to make them defenseless. Or if third place has got triple shrooms here and they overtake you, you could use it to steal their triple shrooms, which they do overtake you already. So if you had this ghost now, you could steal their triple shrooms or reds, and then you could have kept second here rather than falling back into third without really kind of doing too much. You use your shroom straight away. Again, you've got this cut that you can do. Second place uses a shroom and they get a really big lead in front. The CPU also uses a shroom, and now you've lost 2 spots because you used a shroom too early, and you get punished for it. It's just unlucky that they happen to have triple greens out, but that was you putting yourself into the position there that you could have avoided. Again, missing the double. You want to go down that middle path. But yeah, honestly, don't worry about this path. Just take this left corner around here tighter. It's much quicker. You've got a chance at a single and a double item box, and you can still get coins around there if you need to. So even though there's boost panels, it's so wide that it's not faster. Nice reactions on the shroom on the ground. Again, you can trick off that. Shake trick if you're struggling with the timing. That's just unfortunate. Again, you're in a glider, so review, just getting used to that. You might just get a 4th out of it, which is decent. Again, you've got kind of 7 coins at the end there, which is alright. You didn't massively get hit by anything, other than kind of the shocks, which was good. Like I say, you've got... Your lines are getting better, especially when you're getting more familiar with the tracks. So, yeah, kind of trust yourself to kind of catch up. And, yeah, try not to panic as much. The aggressive plays, if you think about kind of the aggression like this, when I play lounge or like competitive stuff, this helped me a lot. If you make an aggressive play and hit, you know, the first place or second place out, you get a chance of getting into first, but you also open yourself up for getting hit out as well. And the only person to you know, if you make an aggressive play, the only person to benefit is going to be you, and I guess everyone else behind you. in like a team-based thing, it's better to play defensive. It's better to play a lot more aggressive, because even if you get hit out, it's often a 1-for-1 trade if you're playing like 6v6. If I hit the enemy out and then I get hit out, that's a 1-for-1 trade. That's equal. A teammate's going to take my spot. But if you get hit out, everyone else gets benefited from you getting hit. So you have to be kind of really selfish when you're doing when we play in the office, because you don't want to give everyone else a free opportunity to hit you or to overtake you. So by playing a lot more defensive and using items safer, so i.e. right before the next item set, when you're guaranteed that you don't need your defense anymore, or if you have a guaranteed hit, there's no blue shells coming out, like you are taking a calculated risk, then you can make those plays. But yeah, you tend to kind of throw items out a little bit too soon. Just be a bit calmer with them. I think that will be the biggest thing. Practice your lines. I'll have a think about some other tracks I think they'll be really useful for you to practice and to have a play on. I think Royal Raceway is a good one to start with. Thwomp Ruins might be good, because there's a couple of shortcuts on this one, and a couple of like more advanced lines that you can practice that I can show you. Like I said, I'll look at editing in or show you some of those lines that you can have a look at as well. Coins, again, if you kind of get hit and you're in kind of that 7th, 8th, rather than thinking I need to use items to catch up, get back up to 8, 9 coins, 10 coins as quickly as you can, make that your focus, and then start using your items. That will massively help. If you're using your mushrooms to catch up and then you get back into 3rd or 4th with 1 or 2 coins, 1st and 2nd are still going to be zooming. You're not going to catch up with them with a green shell. So you need those coins to then snipe, those positions. Yeah, massively help. Starting boost, get better at your starting boost. As soon as that 2 hits the ground, use it. Once it stops, animating. Create space by keeping your items and make people make plays on you. You're very focused on making plays on other people, very aggressively, which is fun, I agreed. But you leave yourself open a lot of the time for very easy plays. They don't even need to be aggressive plays from other people. But yeah, just being more defensive will create space for you, which will make things easier for you. I want to go over kind of some more advanced bits and pieces as well. So things like kind of glider vectoring and drifting off. There wasn't really much in this track section. But I'll probably do a second video where I go over. I think that rather than editing this one, maybe I'll do a second video of lines, a couple of tracks that I want to show you, and things to kind of practice and look at. So yeah, that's a VOD. Let me know if you've got any questions.